The big story around the country continues to be the redistricting in Texas. That's not even the big story. That happens. The big story is the fact that a bunch of Democrats absconded and made sure they broke quorum and refused to do their job to represent the people of Texas. To that end, I've got the great governor of this great state where I sit right now, of Texas. It is Greg Abbott. Governor, how are you? Good to see you again.
Doing great, Joe. Thank you.
So did I get it right? These people just decided I'm not going to do the job that people elected me to go and do.
They quit. They left their job. There are a lot of people watching or listening to the show right now. They earn a paycheck. They have to go to work. And if they left work, said, I'm not going to show up today, they would lose their job. And that's exactly what could happen to these Democrats who've turned their back on the residents and citizens of the state of Texas. They're not doing their job. We have a 30-day special session. Every day matters. And very important issues such as addressing the floods down in the Kerrville area are not going to be addressed because Democrats have absconded, run off to Illinois, run off to New York, run off to other places like that. Because they're not showing up to do their job, Texans' lives are going to suffer.
Just to explain it to those watching and listening, and we're across the nation, millions watching and listening, just to make sure that they understand. In Texas, you've got a regular session. After the regular session, if you couldn't get to everything, you can call a special session. This one is for 30 days. And in that special session, of course, you want aid, relief, and funding to do better next time, should there be another, God forbid, Kerrville. That's on hold now because these people decided to go to states that have clearly gerrymandered and redistricted, the red out of every state. They're all blue. They're in these places, got on private jets, something that I can't afford to do. They're hanging out, just having dinner with Pritzker and Hochul and everybody else, and they're just turning their back, as you said, on Texas. So let's start from, and again, I hope I explained that right about our special session, but let's start from why now? Why is this the right time to redistrict right now? The question is, why in the middle of a decade?
So most people know that at the beginning of a decade, all states go through the redistricting process based upon what the new census shows. Since that redistricting process took place, two things have changed. One is the law, the other is the facts. The legal change was actually catalyzed by the Democrats. Democrats filed a lawsuit in 2022 that was decided last year, where courts decided that Texas is no longer required to have what are called coalition districts. And as a result, we're able to take the people who are in those coalition districts and make sure they're going to be in districts that really represent the voting preference of those people who live here in Texas. And then the fact that's changed, we saw in the aftermath of the Trump election that an overwhelming number of Hispanics and blacks, as well as others, chose to vote for Trump. 4 of the 5 districts that we're going to create are predominantly Hispanic districts. Right. They're going to have to be voting for Republican as opposed to Democrats. Democrats think they have an ownership right to voters who are Hispanic or black. They're now learning the hard way. Those voters are supporting Republicans.
Almost every district on the border, you're so right, went red. And they went for Trump in massive numbers because people woke up and said, wait a second, that other party hasn't been representing me. So I want to make sure that we have it right because they're virtue signaling. They're lying about ethnocentricity. They're lying about ancestry. They're lying about race being involved. What you just said is something nobody nationally is saying. And I want to make sure I got you right. 4 out of the 5 districts that you're talking about creating in the redistricting that you're allowed to do by law would better serve Hispanics? Stop it. I was told this is about white people.
No, we're creating 4 new Hispanic-oriented districts that are going to vote Republican. And Joe, something else that is going to happen in this process, and that is the consolidation of what is known as the Barbara Jordan district over in the Houston area.
Right.
It's a black woman who served there for a long time. They've been begging to protect her district, and that's exactly what we're doing. And so all these outcries, when Democrats have nothing else to say, they'll start saying you're a racist. And whenever they're saying that, that means they've already lost the argument because they have no meaningful substance to talk about other than to call people names.
A couple of things that you may or may not have known. By the way, it's Governor Greg Abbott for those listening on the radio. We've got 16 stations just in Texas, but 170 that's listening across the great land. A couple of things you might not have known. One, there are 10 U.S. representatives right now, Governor, who are either black or Hispanic, who are representing 70% plus white districts, and you nor I would ever complain about that because we believe that you vote for who you want, and we believe in meritocracy. So you can't literally make it about race, knowing that these representative districts Obviously, if they got their way, should all be represented by white people. That neither you nor I are saying. So it's not really about race. What is it really about? What is their fear? That the House of Representatives won't go back to Democrats next year? That I don't think it's going to happen anyway, but is that what their fear is, that the majority will build even more?
Yeah, there's all-out panic by the Democrats because they're realizing there's going to be 5 more Republicans in the United States Congress, and that's going to ensure that President Trump's agenda is going to get passed. And so the Democrats are panicking, grasping at straws, trying to do whatever they can to deny our ability to achieve this. But let me be clear about something. We're using every tool we can to make sure we are holding these Democrats who've fled and run now accountable. But know this 30-day special session, which we do expect to get finished, but if they don't come back and get the job done, I'm calling another special session, another special session, another special session.
Smart.
We will continue this effort. They're going to have to return at some point in time. And when they do, they're going to be arrested, taken to the Capitol, and forced to take their position and make a quorum. And we're going to get these maps passed, as well as take care of the other important business to help the flood victims, to cut property taxes, a full agenda that's going to make the state of Texas even better.
Governor Greg Abbott joining us live right now from Austin. Let me talk to you about those who have already come back. A couple came back. I think you're 4 short now in the House. You need 100 in the House out of 150. You need 21 in the Senate. You've got 20 right now. Are you hearing from anybody? Are there negotiations going on? If you get 4 more, you can continue the legislation, and those who don't come back can all be facing, as I think you suggested and Ken Paxton suggested, possible bribery charges for taking the free flight somewhere for political reasons. So are you close to getting people back? Are there ongoing negotiations or not?
I'll tell you 2 things. One is we have the Texas Department of Public Safety scouring the state of Texas to uncover whether or not there are any Democrats here. Second, we are hearing information from those who are out of state right now that their coalition is fracturing, and some of those people are likely to peel off and to come back to the state of Texas because they know in their heart, for one, they're doing the wrong thing, but they know that their constituents are going to hold this against them. Joe, I'm running ads right now in all the districts of all these Democrats who have fled the state of Texas, explaining to their voters why we're not able to provide flood relief, why we're not able to cut taxes, and it's because your local Democrat member of the Texas House of Representatives cut and ran to Illinois or New York or some other place.
If I understand the quorum rule, Governor, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's Governor Greg Abbott joining us live right now. If I understand it correctly, quorum, that rule is in place just to make sure like 3 people can't show up to the House and vote legislation, and you've got to have at least 2/3 of the House there. This was never meant to allow people to leave and shirk their duties, was it?
It was not, and you're spot on. So you may have noticed that yesterday I filed a lawsuit in the Texas Supreme Court to remove these members. And the basis of that is the purpose of breaking a quorum or not showing up could be something like you have to be in surgery, you're ill or something like that.
Yes.
You cannot refuse to do your job, because if they could purposefully vacate the state and not do their job, that could mean that Texas would never be able to pass a budget and Texas would go bankrupt. And we cannot allow things like that to happen. And that's exactly why I'm asking the Supreme Court of Texas to grant my relief that would allow the immediate removal and vacancy of all these positions held by these runaway Democrats.
Governor, if they win, if they somehow, and they're not going to, I get it, but if they should win, every single time they don't like an issue, they can leave. I mean, isn't that the precedent that would be set?
You're exactly right. And that's the argument we made to the Texas Supreme Court, because this is what's called capable of repetition. If the court does not stop this now, every single time some issue comes up where they don't like the budget or whatever the case may be, it takes just 1/3 of the members of the Texas House to say, well, we're going to break quorum. We're going to leave. We're not going to show up unless we bend to their leftist will on some ideological issue. And it would be wrong to allow only 1/3 of the members of the Texas House to make the decisions for 100% of Texas voters.
It's Governor Greg Abbott joining us live. Just last couple of questions, Governor. Thanks for the time today. And you've explained this so well. I really think people will learn from this. What do you make of them going to Massachusetts? Massachusetts, by the way, is 35% Republican. There are 0 representatives from Massachusetts that are Republican. They're all Democrats. Or Illinois, where you've gerrymandered so badly that you can't even see where the districts start and end. Or to a place like New York, where you know they gerrymandered like crazy as well. It's interesting, again, California by itself was 60-40. It was 60% Democrat. Trump got 40% of the vote. 17% representation for Republicans in California. These are extremely gerrymandered states. I mean, do the Democrats not see the incredible irony of them running to these states that have done exactly what they're accusing you of trying to do?
They're blind to it. You point out one of the rich ironies. It's like if they wanted to protest beer, they decided to go to Milwaukee. It's insane what they had chosen to do because Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, and California, they are the worst examples of gerrymandering. And the Texas Democrats, have gone to these gerrymandered states to complain about gerrymandering.
It's the dumbest thing that I've seen. Let me finish with this. The allegation is Donald Trump called you one night and said, "Hey, Greg, psst, let's screw around with the districts." How did this come about? I'm guessing that because we trust you, we trust Dan Patrick, we trust the legislature as a whole because it's run by Republicans generally. How did this come up? What made you say, we saw the results of the 2024 election. Maybe we should take a look at our districts. Was there a call from Trump? Was there a letter from Trump? Was he directly involved in this?
Yeah, so as you know, but your audience may not, I served as the Texas Attorney General.
Really good Attorney General, by the way. Go ahead.
Before becoming governor. The point is this. I've been involved in redistricting since just after the year 2000. And I know this process. I follow this process. And when I learned about the result of that lawsuit that said coalition districts are no longer required, when I saw the results of the presidential election, I knew that we had the basis to draw lines that were going to be perfectly legal, perfectly fair, and provide voters with the candidate of their choice in their congressional districts.
Last question for Governor Greg Abbott joining us live from Austin. Gavin Newsom and others, maybe Kathy Hochul, have said, because again, Massachusetts, you can't redistrict. It's all Democrat. They wouldn't get anything. They're alleging that they're going to do exactly what you're doing in Texas. So it would nullify any 5 new districts that you create that would be Republican. Does that matter to you? Do you have a fear of that, or don't you care?
I think they've drawn the lines in such a gerrymandered way. They have no ability to pick up any more Republican seats. That said, I'm hearing rumors that if they dare go down that pathway, they can fully expect some other Republican states to be involved in the redistricting process that would overwhelm the number of seats they would be able to pick up. Remember what you said. There's like only 3 Republican seats in all of Illinois.
Yes.
And California has only a couple. We can draw lines in ways that pick up far more Republicans than Democrats have the ability to do.
Amazing. Listen, I love the fact that you're making sure you're taking a stand here. You're making sure that you're immovable on this. I like that Ken Paxton is involved. I like that if you stand firm and you say you're not going to push us around and you do what's right for the people of Texas, the people of Texas will continue voting the way that they're voting. We don't want people to have all sorts of control, higher taxes, higher regulations, progressive movements. Like in New York City, you got a guy who's a socialist or at least a democratic socialist, whatever that is. You're standing on law. You're standing on what's right for the representation. And I think that what you've done, and I don't know if this was your intention, Governor, I'll be honest with you, but I think what you've done is you've exposed Maura Healey. You've exposed Kathy Hochul. You've exposed Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker to be the authoritarians that they are, that don't allow people who love their states to vote and get representation. It is so ironic to me, and I know that I'm on a bit of a tirade here, but it's a little ironic to me that where you had the Boston Tea Party, you have 0 representation. That was about no taxation without representation, and you've got 100% Democrat control where you've got a lot of people who are Republicans. I want to give you the last word on how this fight ends. Do you think you're going to be able to have that session on Friday, or not so much?
So I know we're going to have a session that will pass these maps. Whether it's this Friday or some other Friday, I can't tell you. But I can tell you for a fact, these maps are going to pass.
Amazing that you came on today. Thanks for joining us live, Governor. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you very soon, all right?
All right, Joe. Take care.